We just want to have some opening arguments. And after that, Tommy and I are just going to drill each other, pause, with questions pertaining to this black woman. I'm open to his questions, he's open to my questions. So right now, I ask you, Brother Tommy, give me an opening argument about the black woman and why you were so hard on her. Just tell us, because I got my reason for why I'm showing him so much embrace, and I'm going to do that in like 3 minutes. Give us 3 minutes to let us know.
41 years of my life. I look older than that, but I'm 41. And in my 41 years, no one held black women in a higher regard than me, probably when I was 19 to 20. I thought black women could do no wrong. The reason why I thought black women could do no wrong, well, it was my life that ever checked her and put her in check. Guess who that was? My grandmother. And other than that, my mother was always correct. Yet as I got older, I noticed that a lot of the decisions that she made in her life that affected me negatively as a child, she never stood up and said 2 words, which I noticed escaped the majority of black women. I'm sorry. Seeing that an individual was that men were liars. Men let women down. Men impregnate women and walk out. So why would I want to grow up to be that? And then all of a sudden I started realizing after being able to think for myself, strange. So I shook that shackle. And after shaking that shackle, I started to question. I said, well, if I can question my God, my Savior, the person who controls my soul, then why can't I question the person who told me that that was my God, my Savior, and the person who controls my soul? So in the process of doing that, I then started questioning some of the things that my mother did, some of the decisions she made. Women, whether you hate me or love me, you see me knee deep in black women. And you'd have to ask, why do I give a crap? Well, that would be the answer. And why am I so hard? It's the same reason I'm hard on my daughter that I am the neighbor's kid. I don't know the neighbor's kid, and I don't care if the neighbor's kid grow up to be a junkie or a flunky. Mine doesn't. Because mine has rules, because I expect more from her. Because I love her more than the neighbor's kid. Black women. You go to the barbershop. You go anywhere, black men seem to lament. Look it up now. About black women. So in the process, I have no idea why it would be a problem for me to do the same thing when there's no.
I thought I had X amount of time, so I procrastinated when it came to revealing or giving her some of my reservations, letting her know what some of my reservations was. In time, when she died, I began to hate her. I never hated her my whole life. I began to hate her when she died. I felt like she left me again for a second time. I blamed her for her own death. Like by that time, at age 8. Prior to that, my father took care of my sister and I. Raised a bunch of other children called Michael. 6 in number. That's another story. That's what Daddy did. Still love him the same. Yes, I have several brothers. Moms did all these wicked things until my mother, who had the tightest relationship amongst her children, all of her children, with my father. My father, according to his mother, who I have no reason to feel she was biased because she loved him so. According to my grandmother, who identified as moms, said that my father was hell-bent on getting me aborted along with the rest of my mother's side of the family. However, my mother still chose to have me. And though my father can be violent at times and abuse my mom, as the narrative goes, in all defense to my pops, many people believe that he intimidated her into having me when it was absolutely contradictory, because according to my father's mother, my grandmother, who I identified as moms, she said He was just as persistent with having me aborted as the members of her family who were concerned about her health. But my mama would run away, and she would have me, and I would be born. She risked her life. She survived the birth and gave me to my father. Education was just passing by so they can really take over Eastern Parkway. So they was in the neighborhood that my grandmother worked so hard as a black woman to own a house, which was very difficult task. As she worked for a company named NYNEX for damn near 40 years. I think they turned into AT&T later on. But there was a phone company called NYNEX at that time. And that's how my grandmother earned the right to get that house that she left all her children. Her next child, she ran away from the oppressive forces of both sides of the family who were committed to terminating her child, only to have me, despite the pressures and the stress incurred, not from just one family, but from two families. Still she had me. And then I wanted to strike a chord and you talking about minds. So we are probably very interesting to the world because our stories, as it relates to our mothers particularly, is so very unique.
But isn't it strange though, if you think about it? Your mother left, you love black women. My mother stayed, I love black women. The way that we approach it is completely different. I do not believe you can spare the rod and raise a child that is correct. And as far as this goes, my view of women is less than mentally. I had a woman on the show today, a young woman, and she came on the show, beautiful young woman, was telling the world how much she loved me and how my videos changed her life. She's 20. And you know, you and I grew up and people always said, women mature faster than men. You remember hearing that?
I heard that.
Well, it's completely false, because if you talk to a 20-year-old female versus a 20-year-old